Welcome everyone to the Underground Sound. I am DJ X Tech, joined as always by Carlos Fandango, and today our very special guest, Mr. Rookie Rogers. Everyone's doing all right here. We had a little pre-meeting chat here, so I think we're just going to hop into the music, right? Rookie has kind of like limited time. He's taking some time off on his lunch break. So what do you say? We're going to hear the first song.
Sounds good.
All
Who have we
right.
got?
Play it.
So this is going to be. Let me load up the screen here real quick. This is a musician that is called Sound Spider. This is his song Overload. Well, all right, Overload by Sound Spider.
I love it. I had two thoughts.
Yeah.
First thought, kind of made me want to go shopping. Great shopping music. Second thought is I could hear that dude, like whoever the main vocalist is, the guy that started out, I could hear that guy's voice in like 10 different genres.
Oh yeah.
Like I'd love to hear him do some sultry R&B stuff, maybe some old Zapp and Rogers. I think that guy has a really dope voice.
Yeah, I agree. I think, vocally strong performance. Was that a female vocal at the end, or was it him doing a higher voice? I wasn't expecting that female vocal at the end. I know I've heard the track once, but when I first heard it, and even then, you think it's going to be the same voice, then suddenly this sort of other feminine sort of vocal comes in.
Right.
I can't. You're quite quiet, Tom. By the way, just so you know, your mic volume's quite low.
Really, is it?
Feels low to me. I don't know about you, Ephraim.
How about now?
Say again.
A little bit higher? No? Is it better?
A bit better, yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
I
I don't know what I'm like either, but basically, really professional, on point production, good club dance number. I'm not really into dance music, but that's good because it had a lot of ebb and flow. The beat drops and then the hi hat comes in as well, gives it a little extra oomph, and then it stops, and it's the production's really good, and the synth is really hooky. And
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, just really good. A nice length, radio friendly, 2 minutes 46 or so, and you know, just really good. I think it's really strong starter.
2 minutes 46 seconds is definitely a very good radio quality. It's even good quality for for a club, because you need to constantly be switching the music up. And so the hook was great. Really gave me a feel of that, like kind of like Insomnia, kind of like Faithless vibe to it, with that old kind of like Moog synth in there, like the bam bam bam. Overall, I gotta say, like listening to it on the headphones, the production quality is absolutely top notch. Everything is automated and really just kind of like mastered really well. So good job on that. Is kind of like my opinion.
And you were quiet, and the track was slightly quiet. The reason for that was I didn't have my headphone volume turned up enough.
Okay, so now I'm probably a little bit louder than what I should be.
No, you sound great.
Oh, thank you very much.
Sound great.
Yeah.
Carl just needs to turn his ears up.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, get the hearing aids going, man. Yeah, but I like it. I've been in touch with SoundSpider. I've listened to a couple of tracks. I haven't listened to that one because I knew that it was on the agenda for the show. But yeah, I'm very pleased with it. Very pleased with it. So a good opening number to kick the underground sound off. So hey,
really
congrats to SoundSpider also. Really dope song. I mean, whatever you're doing it well. So keep it up for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great job, man.
All right. What do we got next on the agenda here? Looks like, let me see. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so we got William Lee in a blink of an eye. Any kind of pretext to this, Carl?
Well, if I remember rightly, again, I've only heard this once, maybe twice. I've probably played each of these through twice, so I've got a bit of a heads up where I'm searching for the music, and anything that's caught my ear in some way. Again, this won't be as professional as production, I think, as the other one, but there's something a bit unique about it, and I liked it. It's just, yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute, but just sounds like a interesting track, I think, from memory. I can't remember much about it.
So just kind of reading his notes here, in a blink of an eye, this song will be released on May 17th, 2022, which means it has dropped. It is about regrets and moving forward. It is about regrets and moving forward. We live in a world where tech can overrun us to the point we forget the simplicity of life. Hope you enjoy it. Pre-save it. Thanks. And then we will post that link, obviously, on the edited version of the show. So here we go. William Lee with In a Blink of an Eye.
Saturday morning, I'm looking through the window. Birds are chirping, and the sun is shining brightly. I run to get my camera. Birds are perched on branches. I turn it on, but it's too late. Time flies by without warning. The experiences we seek are gone in a blink of an eye. A friend I haven't seen in a long time. We look at our phones as we're walking by. There's a stunning rainbow. With my camera on hand, I click several times. Forget the SD card. Time flies by without warning. The experiences we seek are gone in a blink of an eye. A person I just thought about, I haven't heard in years. I turn to the phone and pause for a moment. I realize there's a paper due. I focus and complete it. I forget about her. Tell news of her passing. Time flies by without warning. The experiences we seek are gone in a blink of an eye. I know I should be more into the moment, bombarded by the many things before me. I miss all the little things in life. Is it too late to change my ways? I wake up to a new day and hear the birds are chirping. My first instinct is to get that camera. This time I hold still and listen to their song. It brings me peace, satisfaction. Time flies by without warning. These moments are meant to be experienced. Time flies by without warning. These moments are meant to be experienced.
William Lee with In the Blink of an Eye. Let's see, where's William's stats here? He's North. I was gonna say New York. Oh my! I need new glasses. Like seriously, North York, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It just sounds like a lot to say on a place where you live. But you live in like Kent, and there's like 3 different names for Kent, right? Like Kent, Birmingham. What is it?
What? My Kent?
Yes.
I know there's only just Kent, but there's the county of Kent. But you know, it's well, yeah. I mean, it can be broken down into West and East Kent, but it's it's just Kent really here. But
okay, so
there,
I'm definitely thinking a little bit more than so. North York, Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Of course, Ontario. Yeah,
is where William Lee is from there. So, Rookie, your thoughts?
Yeah, 2 things stood out to me a lot. The first was one of my favorite things about like the lyrical element of any song is storytelling. So that guy's a great storyteller. Even without the song, like I feel like me and him could be drinking coffee or having a beer, and he just talk the lyrics to that song. He's telling me a story.
Right.
That's what I love. I think the song's put together really well. I would have minor critiques on just some EQ things and little mix things, but that's all stuff that, like, it's all stylistic stuff, man. You just make your music sound dope for you and keep telling good ass stories. I love it.
So just to that point, real quick, because I know that we've been dealing with this echo for a while. Is the echo still kind of like going through? Does it still sound like kind of like washy or?
No, not at all.
Sounded good to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so maybe it's just because we were performing live. I don't know.
I think so.
Who knows? I'm not even going to try to think about it anymore, trying to solve that problem anymore. All I know is I got a separate audio recording going on for it. I'll edit it as necessary. My little critique here is that that you know as well as I do, Carl, that one of my biggest beefs is that usually the lyrics sound a little too low. This one definitely sounds like it has overlaid vocals. Recorded the track, put the vocals on top of them. When the flute came in, the flute kind of sounded the same, like if the track had been done already and then the flute was put on top of it. It really didn't sound mixed into the track. So production value needs some work. And the
so how would you, just to say to the audience, how would you remedy that? What's the remedy, would you say?
The remedy is to mix it into a track. Rookie and I had this conversation once, and what you should always do is you should always treat your voice as an instrument. Your voice is an instrument. So the same way that you're recording, like let's say a synthesizer or a guitar or a bass line, whenever you're creating any kind of stems to get an entire song together, you should use your voice the exact same way. And you should spend time on your voice. You should spend time on your voice, figure out what effects work for your voice, whether it's going to be a gate, whether it's going to be a bit of a delay or an echo. Maybe it might just be a little bit of reverb or a chorus. It's very, learn how to tweak, where to send your voice. If you need to put a little bit more of your voice to the left channel, or if you need to put a little bit of your voice to the right channel, whichever way it goes, figure out how to overlay your voice as well. So but once again, the most important takeaway from that, once again, as Rookie and I have spoken about, is treat your voice as an instrument. It is very important. It makes the song pop. But to Rookie's point also is that the lyrics were top notch. The lyrics were really good. They were on point. They definitely had a story behind them from beginning to end. It was nice talking about, like, like I got the camera, but then I forgot the SD card, right? And it's just kind of like, obviously these are metaphors for different things. You're gonna have to figure them out for yourself, in your own mind. But yeah, vocals are top notch. Production, the production needs a little bit, a little bit more quality. But overall, I think a good song for a I'm assuming a beginner.
Yeah, I think so. And my notes are that it's sort of a retro lo-fi electronic synthy early 80s sort of sound. So maybe it's going for that kind of sound in a way, or maybe it's just, as you say, beginner, new to production. So, but either way, there's that adds a bit of charm for me, and the quaintness that goes along with those sort of home production values, with those day-to-day, everyday lyrics and funny lyrics. And, there's sort of a twee, happy, funny, nice vibe. A couple of things that was reminiscent for me. For some reason, Devo came to mind, just maybe the vocal style. Hot Chip a little bit because of the elements of the synths. The Boy Least Likely To, a lesser known group, but they did a song called Be Gentle With Me, and they did a lot of sort of twee sort of sounding stuff. Really good, love those stuff. But lovely little basic, jolly, ditty, catchy thing, particularly with the synth, and the fluty synth coming in. A little bit of David Byrne in there, maybe, with the day-to-day sort of lyric stuff.
I can see that.
And the intro
Yep.
reminded me of sort of Coldplay sort of hook in one of the songs. So, yeah, for me, I just really love that sort of quaint type of music. And production issues aside, I love it. Yeah.
No, it's a good song. Production issues aside, to your point, I was thinking that the intro was more of a Hello Goodbye style.
Oh yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, if you remember them, they had a pretty good song, but it was kind of reminiscent of that. Maybe a little bit of Weezer. I don't know, because Weezer is a little bit more. I'm going to use the term lightly, hardcore, right? But yeah, I mean, definitely the Hello Goodbye kind of style into it, where it's kind of like maybe got that little bit of a alt kind of like punk ska kind of feel to it. I don't know. That would just be my personal guess on it here. So, Carl, I think it's time for the Purple Ball of Destiny.
It's here. With all the real categories not imagined this time.
We got real paper this time?
Real paper, real words.
Real fingers. We afford this kind of production.
I know.
Wow.
We have real paper
we've
going
gone up market already. We are
amazing.
Spending so much money on this.
We are moving up in the world.
Right. We have. Oh, interesting category. Okay. Well, if you can look up, there is a category on Slaps for experimental. So we do. And just to prove that's what I picked out, it's experimental. Don't know if that's backwards on yours. It's backwards on my screen.
No.
So
it's coming out straight.
It's coming out, of course, yeah.
We got, let's see.
And see what you can find on experimental, because and see what comes up. I mean, it'd be interesting to see.
Groups. We're gonna have to look through here. I know, because these.
Yes, indeed.
I think these are sorted by.
They're sorted by the number of members.
By the number of members.
So I'll leave that category out. So we've already chosen it. There it is. 2,506 members.
That's still not bad. 2,506 members. So let's see. We're always going to head over to the new.
Yeah, always is good.
I think that's the way to do it. What do you think, Rookie? Are you on board with that? We're going to go to the new rather than the hot.
Let's do it.
Oh, well, the new happens to be the hot as well. So
yeah,
it didn't make that much of a difference. But so this is a Junior Pavilion posted 10 hours ago. He says, roll the dice and live the outcome. Electronic experimental from his own description here. So let's check it out. I hate to cut any song short, but I just feel like we're going to be listening to the same thing over and over again. Yeah.
Got to see how it ends, surely. Yeah, but it might take a twist or turn.
Okay, let's see. Nope, nothing different.
What about that last second?
So
I'm sure there's going to be something exciting.
here's my only thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I could see this song like if you were listening to kind of like if you put some reverb on it and like made it like kind of like low as background music to like someone dressed up as a clown like doing some kind of like Halloween like kind of like spooky activity. I could definitely see the song being like background music for that. It definitely has like a Zappa quality to it.
Mm-hmm.
When listening to it, I kind of like automatically just kind of like think Frank Zappa, right? It's like weird, eclectic, it's out there, right? But the only thing that I would say is that this is a 2-minute song at best.
Yes.
Not 3.5. If you leave it at like 2.5 minutes, I think that it'll have more value to it. It's kind of generic, but once again, it is experimental. So those would really be my thoughts on it. I mean, it was decent for what it is. I'm not going to hate it. I don't hate it. It's just kind of like, it gets repetitive after a while. Rookie? Take it away.
Yeah, I had two things. First, the track as is, like, anytime I'm listening to music, like I'm begging for the vocal, right? I want to hear the vocal or the story, kind of like I alluded to before. This song as is, like, would be super dope as a soundtrack for a bitchin' cartoon, or like a creepy cartoon or something. Like it would work perfectly for something like that.
Exactly.
Because there's some dynamic and it kind of rises and falls. Secondarily, though, man, if that track had like an analog just behind the beat, like old drum set that replaced whatever percussion was happening,
Right.
It would be a great like mid-90s boom bap kind of beat. And it would be awesome to hear either like a long cipher over the top of it, a bunch of different people doing a verse, or find a really good rapper and tell him to hit it,
Yes, that would definitely work. Yeah, having some kind of vocals to it for sure, especially in the hip hop format, because it just happens to have that tempo. So it has that hip hop electronic kind of format with the Zappa-esque, style to it. I think that those are all things that would work. But I agree with you 100%. Yeah, creepy kind of like video game or just some kind of creepy background. That would definitely be the place for the song. What do you say, Carl? Should we leave him 5 fires?
Yeah, we should leave him some fires, that's for sure, because he's done something. I mean, he's accurately genred it as electronic and experimental, which it was. There's some old sampler sort of sounds from the late 80s in there. Tense sort of sound, nightmarish almost, maybe deliberately so. Sort of sensed the old blood pressure rising slightly. So as the song went on, so it was. But yeah, I mean, it was slightly sort of jazzy in a way. Yeah, definitely. You could hear a vocal over it if it's some sort of, if it's not hip hop or rap, then a spoken vocal, like some sort of Zappa-esque vocal spoken with an effect on. Yeah, it was. When you hear those in the middle of the night in this sleep, and there's some sort of weird noise going on, or something that's repeating, or maybe something in the house is making a sort of reverberating noise, and you sort of got that in your head and you can't get rid of it. It was that kind of thing in a song. It felt like to me, which may be the intention of the maker, not the maker, but the maker of the song.
Right. Well, yeah.
Maybe that was the hand of God.
Let's get to that whole discussion just got. So yeah. Rookie, how you doing on time? I know that you're kind of short on time here, so how you doing on time still?
I got time for one more, and then I got to get back into work.
All right, so let's do one more here since Rookie has time for it. Then we'll take a quick 10-minute break after that. Not that I really need to announce it, but it's just we'll do it because to everybody that's actually watching this video, because it'll be edited down, it'll be very seamless. So this is your third track sent over, Carl. This is Bronze and Steel, Like Art. Any kind of preface to this?
Well, as you can see from that sort of what do they call it? I forgot what they call the sound thingy. wave file thing that they show there. It's sort of got a bit of a swell to it and a bit of a build and ebbs away. So I quite like that for a start. It's quite appealing to look at. You think, oh, that could be interesting, bit of a build. Yeah, this one sort of appealed. It's got something a bit about it that I quite liked, and I think people out there might enjoy this one.
Okay. 3 minutes, 36 seconds for Rookie, and let's take it away.
You sound like music in quiet places. You run through silence without leaving traces. And loving you feels like art. And loving you feels like art. You look like a painting, poisonous red on my skin, gently putting thin layers, carving deep within. And loving you feels like art. 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 Underneath your lips, the heat, your body on me, the way that it feels like
Rookie Rogers, take that one away since you are short on time here, buddy.
Yeah, two things. First, I would have loved to have been around in like 1998 at a show where that guy was playing.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun to see live. There's just a lot of dynamics. I wasn't quite expecting the little guitar solo to break out and then everything to kind of blow up. Super dope. My only critique, I guess it'd be stylistically, is that there's a lot of at least on my end, it sounded like a lot of effects on the vocal, which took away from the main vocal. The dude's a great singer. And so I would...
No, go ahead, finish your thought.
Well, I would have loved to hear more of... Like, I'm not opposed to vocal effects. I think I heard more of his effects than his actual vocal, though. If you're a dope singer, man, just be a dope singer. So that's my only thing, is I would have rather heard more of his... I guess his organic voice than whatever processing or effects he had on it.
So, Carl, you were nodding your head yes there. You agree with that? Turn your mic on. Yeah. That tends to help.
I don't know if it makes any difference to keep my mic off, but I
just mute it, Carl. You sound much better muted.
Okay, I'll do that.
We could just make up our own words.
So basically, yeah, that's an interesting point about the vocals, because I'd messaged you then to say, has it gone all echoey again? Are we having that problem? So, but then I realised it's just on the vocal. So I think if that effect had been used on just a line or two here and there to bring prominence to certain parts, would be fine. I agree with Rookie's comment about the vocal thing. Yeah, if you're a good singer, and he does sound like a good singer, maybe it's a vocal confidence thing and he wants to mask it and think, well, I don't know if my voice is good enough, so therefore I'm going to mask it a bit, as people do sometimes. Now, I agree with Rookie on that one. Sing, go for it. More voice, less effects, because the effect in that instance was a little distracting. So maybe just lessen it a bit. Just, you can have that Lennon-esque type tape delay, echo delay type thing, but if it's overdone, that's one of the main takeaways. Then you don't want that to be the main takeaway from it. You want it to be remembering the vocal, the performance, the melody. There's quite a bit of melody in there. Slow build, loved that. It suddenly burst into life, and I really like that. It's suddenly become an anthemic sort of show tune from the 90s, as you say, or from the noughties, really. Or it's almost like the bit at the end, you can imagine that being used on one of those Saturday night talent shows where they're giving the background to that singer's journey up to into the final stages and all that kind of thing. So that could easily be used, and it's got that feel to it. So for me, I think that's what my main takeaway from the song was. Love the way it just suddenly burst into life. You're kind of almost not expecting it as well, because it's not like it's a slow build. It suddenly just hits you, and it works.
It goes from like segment to segment, that's for sure. I don't know if we're hearing the same thing is the problem here. So I don't know if Rookie's hearing the echo on his end and if you're hearing the echo on your end. For me, it sounded all right. I actually made a note of it that the vocals to me sounded more like a Crash Test Dummies kind of like style vocals to it. But I got to tell you, like the song overall, the production is great. I think that it's set up nicely, and to Rookie's point, is definitely like, at the beginning of the song, you would have all the lighters out in the arena, and everybody would be waving their arms back and forth, and then you have this, grand kind of like epilogue to the entire story that's going on there. So I thought that the lyrics were great. I liked the nice acoustic guitar solo that was kind of like thrown in the middle. It had a great build-up in itself to the end, right, which makes it kind of like that anthem kind of song where you can listen to it when it's quieter, when it gets into the solo, and when it gets to the grand finale of things. So I think that the production here is very well done. There's a few credits on screen right now for everybody to look at. So if you'd like to check them out, obviously the link will be in the description of the video, so that way we can promote these artists the way that we need to. But I like it. I think it was a great overall song.
I will say on the vocal thing, I just had a quick snippet in my end, and actually the vocal sounds really good at this end. So it was something we're hearing.
The echo, the back and forth.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Rook, I'm going to tell you, check it out again, because I think like it was a Crash Test Dummies. Like if you remember that song,
it doesn't sound like much echo reverb on it at all. Actually,
it doesn't.
No.
They were very clean. I very much enjoyed.
Very strange. I'll check it out on Slaps. I'll listen to it by itself.
Definitely
recommend that to everybody as well. Check it out on Slaps.
So absolutely, guys. Obviously, you're hearing it here from a different audio recording that I'm doing. The guys here are hearing it a little bit differently. We've tried to figure this issue out many a times. We're literally transmitting it, 1 gigabyte a second. So it's definitely not an internet issue. It's something else. We've tried to wrap our heads around it and figure out a couple times. We just can't. But let's let the guys listen to it. So Carl, if you can forward Rookie the same list that you sent me in order that we went, so Rookie can actually check this out again. And I guarantee you, Rookie, when you hear it, you'll see what I'm talking about with the Crash Test Dummies kind of thing right there. So I liked it. I think it was a great song. Definitely worth checking out. If anybody's listening right now to to this song, then obviously go check these guys out, listen to them, share a couple of fires with them if you're on Slaps. Give them a like, give them a share, give them a save. Let's promote these underground musicians. And I know Rookie has to get back to work here. Carl and I will take a quick 5 or 10 minute break here while he's getting back to his stuff. So, Rookie Rogers, thank you for hopping on for this initial half hour of the Underground Sound. We will definitely be in touch. It was great having you on board. It's nice having a third person, I got to say.
Yeah, it's great to be able to jump on here.
I'm pleased at the way this went. This was a nicer back and forth. I thought that maybe 3 people might get a little busy, but it definitely helped to have a third opinion. So, are you ever going to do a rookie report for us, or a rookie review? Is what it's going to be with this show, right? Are you
Absolutely. I got another few weeks of kind of figuring out my place at the new job,
Right.
And then once I have that and kind of my day-to-day routine all buttoned down, then yeah, I'll be able to carve time out to do that for sure.
Does your new job include robbing banks? Because you're like totally dressed like ASA right now, like you got the
Yeah, dude.
With the dark.
I mean, my new job doesn't include that, but I'm always ready for it. So
You're
as
always
soon as I see a vulnerable bank, I'm ready to just jump out and
just in
hit
case,
it,
just in case the cholos hop out, right?
just in case.
Just in case. All right, brother. Want to thank
See you guys. Be good.
Take care, man.
Bye.
Thank you, bro. So now we're going to go into to the fourth track that you got here, and that is start presenting the screen here.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, 4th track, and that's the 5th track tonight. Natalie.
Yeah, I'm calling this the 4th track just because
Because my list.
your list. So you had Mayar Enbier with a song called Madness, but that was the same link that was to Sound Spider's Overload.
Was it? Okay, that's interesting. So I'll try and find my Beer. That was a little error then. If you'd like that, I can do that now.
Yeah, that would be fine. So this is Natalie with let's see. So it says that it's a pop genre La Parentes Enchante. Obviously, I'm saying that wrong because I'm assuming that's French. Is it French?
Enchante, yeah. Enchante.
Enchanté. There we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
La Parenthèse Enchante.
Enchanté. So any pretext to this that I should know about?
I think she's quite new on here. And I think with this one, yeah, it's quite French, but I think I'm hoping you'll quite like it because it's sort of a slightly sort of synthy electronic sort of thing and poppy, but yeah, with a French sort of tinge to it. And yeah, I think her stuff seems quite interesting at the moment. There's just something about it that really appealed to my ears on this one. I don't know quite what it was, but I thought, I think you'll like this one. I think.
It's kind of strange. She has 2 saves, no fires or anything like that. Posted 5 days ago. I would think that she would have more, especially being in the pop genre.
Might be a reason for that. I noticed that some people, I think by mistake, or maybe it's a systems thing, they upload, and then they might upload a track 3 or 4 times. And I don't know why they do it, or if they do it by mistake, or if they're new to it, that they've done it by mistake. But I think when you click on her profile, the same songs might appear a few times. Therefore, the comments and fires get spread.
Okay.
That might be the reason why.
Well, we'll help her out with that possibly. So let's take a listen to it. So here, you pronounce the name then, since so we don't. So
La Parenthèse Enchantée.
All right, La Parenthèse Enchantée.
Dans les souterrains, je n'avais rien demandé. Tu es venu me chercher. Dans ton regard, il y avait tellement de tendresse. Pour toi, j'ai tout quitté, j'ai changé d'adresse. Je suis une parenthèse enchantée, que je t'ai vu, je t'ai tout de suite reconnu. Tu es ma parenthèse enchantée, celui dont j'ai toujours rêvé, mon amour infini et concret, avec tes failles et tes secrets. Avec tes failles et tes secrets, je suis une parenthèse enchantée, une femme fantasmée. Oh oui, une parenthèse enchantée, irréelle, rien de concret.
I think a good track all around. I think, in my personal opinion, is if you take off the vocals, you're pretty much listening to like Jean-Michel Jarre. So it has that old school kind of like, electro vibe to it, which is the comment that I made. But it's not that there was anything lacking in the vocals. I'm just saying like what the melody sounds like to me,
Mm.
because the vocals um, obviously worked very well with the song. I didn't understand it, obviously. I don't speak French, but with songs, you don't have to really understand the language to understand the language of the music, which is the language of the music definitely flowed. So it's got a really good production quality to it.
Mm.
Everything just kind of like works. It's if she's doing this herself, like let's say like who we've been talking about before, De Laurentiis, right? If she's working on this herself, then she's doing a top-notch job. If she has a sound engineer, then obviously the sound engineer is doing a top-notch job. But
Mm.
definitely like the classic like electro vibe funk to it, along with the lyrics. So great song overall. I like it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, same. I mean, I think this is where music is universal. You can hear, the mood of the song without knowing what the words are. Without knowing the content of the lyrics that are being sung, if you don't speak French. So I like that. I like her voice. I like her delivery. It's very sort of almost laid back style. French accent obviously comes across. She's not sort of disguising or pretending to be something else. She's an I'll choose my words carefully, an older artist. She's not a slip of a girl, some young pop wannabe, but a more mature artist. So it's nice to think that there's people out there of all ages bringing fresh new music out there to the world. But yes, the song would stand up as an instrumental on its own. Synth and the sounds and the beat was the snare, clappy snare beat, really nice sound, and the production was good. So I really like that, and I think she's got a lot of potential there. There's something. I mean, imagine actually saying about De Laurentiis. Now, imagine if she teamed up with De Laurentiis and you had her, because she's kind of got that vocal sound that De Laurentiis, not the same voice, but that sort of synthesized vocal almost that could fit nicely onto De Laurentiis' music.
Yeah, that would be for sure.
They would
Well,
team up really well.
yeah, we talked about who it was, Leon, I think, that we were talking about that we need to put in touch with De Laurentiis also. I think I'll have to look back at the previous show that we did and figure out exactly what that was. But I agree with you. Especially kind of like since they actually would speak the same language, maybe they could get something going, because the live sessions that De Laurentiis had were fantastic. So this one. I don't think that there would be any kind of gap in kind of like speaking about the music that they like together. I think that they would work really well, especially being two females also.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe they have the same kind of mindset on where things are going. I'm not sure if she is classically trained, as De Laurentiis is. Who knows? I definitely would like to hear more by Natalie. That's for sure. So I'll check out her profile a little bit later on and hear some of her some more of her music here. So yeah, but overall, once again, great production quality. It was a nice opening. Once again, could be an instrumental by itself, but I mean, everything all the way through just really kind of like vibed. It would definitely be something that I could see, on my kind of like chill lo-fi kind of like, like playlist,
Yeah.
kind of like something to just kind of like mellow out to. Like, let's say if I'm washing up the dishes or whatever the case may be, something going on in the background, boom, boom, boom. You got that nice beat to it and everything. It's just it works. It works. I like it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So here we go. Segment number 6, the Purple Bowl of Destiny,
It's back.
number 2.
Right. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Right. Here we go. So, actually, I should be looking, should I? Right. What do we got here? Well, that was 2. Oops. Oh, dear. That one got away. Oh, God. That's about 3. Right. Okay. Oh. What's this DC Roo? Is that DC Roo? Anyway, it says, right. I don't know why the DC Roo is on there. What that was? There's something about Ricky Rogers, but it says we choose. So this is one where we choose the category. So you can choose. It's quite a cool one to do, and you choose whatever category you want. What do you fancy? Where do you think the interesting song is going to come from? And we go for it.
How about, okay, so I'm not going to be digging because this is supposed to be pretty random, so I'm not going to dig. The first thing that I could see on here is alternative rock, which kind of seems like maybe we haven't heard a lot of. We've heard some electronic stuff, some hip hop. We had hip hop on the last show. So what do you think? Alternative rock?
Yep, the two that catch my eye are reggae and alternative rock. So alt rock is good. 30,500 members. So yeah, there's got to be something good in there.
Yeah, let's switch to the
What's
new.
new? I love the idea of doing. Oh, it's another one that's new and hot. Is it? Oh no, there we go.
There we go. The East Stand posted 6 minutes ago.
Oh,
So
well, here we go. This goes well with the Purple Bowl of Destiny. Red Cup Plastic Party of Doom.
there you go. Hey, what do you know? Teams up very nicely. Let's check it out.
Why does
I would dare to say that that's more punk than alt rock.
Yeah, well, it's for me, it's got that sort of there was mid to late 80s, particularly late 80s, I'd say, had certainly in the UK, the indie rock and in indie what indie music used to be was that kind of thing, very independent music sound, like they've gone into a studio and just laid down a track as they would play it live.
Yeah,
Yeah, not very high energy and big bass sound, that sort of weird sort of chord movement in certain sections where there's a bit of a sort of clashy sound of bass and guitar chords. Um, no major ebb and flow, but it probably didn't need that because this is how the track would sound live, I'm guessing. The overdrive vocal was, you couldn't really make out much of the lyrics being sung. But it's definitely in that sort of indie rock, punk, post-punk sort of era, genre, I should say. But yeah, it's right. It's quite a rough and ready recording overall.
because I was kind of thinking like, who's the who was the group that did Anarchy in the USA?
Well, Anarchy in the UK was the Sex Pistols.
The Sex Pistols kind of gave me the Sex Pistols vibe to it. It was just that kind of style, right? Where it was just like, let's hop in the studio, let's get this recorded. This is the way that we're going to perform it live. This is the way that it's going to be done. So it didn't really have any kind of like really inherent like production value. To be honest, it's a very fast style. And I was trying to like wrap my head around like who I could compare it to the that was in the US, and I just really couldn't. But the low vocals, as you know, bother me. There is a bit like way too much effect on them, and the bass is like kind of like screaming over the drums. The drums kind of sound like they weren't recorded like drum per drum. They sounded like they were recorded with a microphone that was like kind of like standing off just off
Like an overhead
in the
mic or
distance.
something.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Mm.
So I mean, high energy song, obviously, there's definitely a market for it. There's nothing wrong with it as far as where the structure is concerned or where the song is concerned. It's just kind of like, would this ever kind of like make it into the mainstream? Then I really don't think so, unless it really kind of like maybe developed like a huge cult following. But with that being said, this is the East Stand. They're from Brisbane, Australia. And that one was called Red Cup Plastic Party of Doom,
Yeah.
subsequent to the Purple Bowl of Destiny.
Yeah. Well, I think with that one, I mean, it's I think you're right about the bass. That's a really important point. Is that a lot of bands, when you're in your school bands and stuff like that, you're competing for ear space, for vying for attention. If the drummer's quite loud, you think, oh, I can't quite hear my guitar. I'm going to turn it up a bit. Bassist then says, well, I'm going to turn mine up. But that bass definitely went up to 11.
Oh, it did. It for sure did. And it really, yeah, you really couldn't like feel what instrument was taken over, right? Because the guitar was there, but the guitar was very kind of like shallow and just kind of like melancholy. So yeah, just a little bit of work there. But like I said, it's one of those songs that could definitely develop, a cult following, and and could be something great. So once again, there's nothing wrong with it per se.
No, proper sort of indie song, really.
Yeah,
I'd say.
most definitely. So, if you have $50 to spend on on an hour of recording, then this is probably what you're going to end up with, is just kind of like the way that I would look at it.
Yeah.
So we got a song. This would actually be track number. Well,
Track 7 in total.
I'm
and
going down
probably
the list. So this would actually be track 5 because we did
Yeah.
2 for 2 of the Purple Bowls of Destiny.
Yeah.
So this one would be track 5, and so on your list, this would have been track 6. But we're gonna get to the first track a little bit later, because we had a different link for it. So that this was Matthew McLaughlin. Let's Dance on Our Bed. So this is a singer songwriter, and it just says underground as far as the genre is concerned. Do you have any preface to this?
Yeah, I think this is a guy that could be quite interesting. I think because he's on his profile, it's something like influenced by some of the good music, like the Beatles and other well-known musicians and singer-songwriters and things. So I think it's got potential, and there's something about this track that sort of pricked up my ears, and it wasn't outstanding, and yet I think it's interesting, and there's something about it that stuck with me. And I thought, do you know what? I'll listen to that again. And so I did, 2 or 3 times in the end. So I thought it was all right.
Okay. So, Matthew McLaughlin, Let's Dance on Our Bed, as described, an upbeat love song with some trumpet and Latin percussion. Let's check it out.
While the beads in the corners of my eyes, like beads on my window that fell from the sky. Some beads are placed on necklaces and sold as merchandise in countries where it doesn't rain and people hardly cry. Every day is just another day away. Reciting words that I will say, a picture in your face. Some words are written on note cards and studied for good grades. I get straight A's. You whispered over phone, I'm almost home. And by the time I get to Boston, we should spend some time alone. I'll trade my body for the air, the kind you can't see. Constantly caressing you in places gone unseen. I'm here to help preserve your life and give you what you need. So just breathe. I felt like a seasoned carpenter, gaining fame in the trade. The house of it was for you alone. Together we made it our home, surviving every storm that came my way. While learning from our love, our past mistakes. There's a history between you and me, and if we look ahead, it's not hard to see the future colored in so vividly. You were standing on the shore next to me. So let's dance on our beds like when we were young, and sing along to lyrics of all our favorite songs. Life is no fairy tale, cause we're still figuring out the things that been because we're in love.
So what I liked about it was sort of jolly, happy, upbeat sort of feel to it. So that's for a start. So that sort of appeals. In fact, in my comments on the track, when I commented to Matthew on this one, was saying that I think the sound of the song, it immediately smacked to me of, it was made for the end credits of a rom-com type film. So like Hugh Grant, Liz Hurley walking off down the street or something. I can imagine that while the title credits come up, and you can sort of hear this song, particularly with the end part, where he says it's sort of Latin parts. I hear it as a very much a mariachi sort of trumpet part, and I love it for that. I love that kind of trumpets anyway. Title, love it. It's nice. It's sort of looking back and reminiscing. I think interestingly, his vocal style, it reminds me most closely to Morrissey. Now, Morris, not the timbre of his voice and the sound of his voice, but the delivery and the style and the content of the lyrics and the way it's being delivered. So there's a couple of sort of Morrissey-esque sort of things. So I don't know if he's one of the influences. Don't think it's listed on his profile as one of his influences, but I can hear that might well be one of his influences. I think he says, there we are, yeah. So there's a few modern influences as well as Burt Bacharach and so forth. So I think this is a guy who, okay, he's only uploaded 2 tracks so far, but I think he could be, one to watch as a potential, good composer of music. I think he could compose some songs well. So for me, nice, pleasant song, not setting the world light, but I do think it's a nice song.
I think the lyrics are great. To me, it just kind of like sounded all over the place, the song in itself. Like I do like the title, "Let's Dance on Our Bed." So for sure, with the description, an upbeat love song with some trumpet and Latin percussion. No, it wasn't some. It definitely, I thought that he was going to start, singing in Spanish, because it definitely did sound like a mariachi kind of song. But then as the song went on, I kind of like picked up some, and I was looking through this as the song was playing, and I don't see any of these in his influences. But I mean, I picked up Coldplay, Verve Pipe, and like honestly, like even Lisa Loeb, I could see kind of like doing this tempo of a song, especially with the description, with it being kind of like an upbeat love song. Lisa Loeb would obviously be on the lower end of that, but I could definitely see Coldplay or Verve Pipe doing this. It's just it was all over. It was all over the place for me, and just at 4 minutes, also maybe a little too long.
Yeah, do you know what? I did put a comment down the midsection. You see where in the actual there's less yellow dots, which is where the fire has been allocated. That section there, that whole section leading up to where it sort of then come back in with a bit of a burst. I've put it was a bit drawn out, probably 30 seconds cut out. I reckon you could probably cut that down by about 30 to 45 seconds, lose that middle section, and make it more radio friendly by making it about 3 minutes 15 to 3 minutes 30. You wouldn't miss that bit. I mean, lyrically you might. So that might be an album version that's extended, whereas the single version radio edit, I would say you cut that 30 to 45 seconds, cut the fat off, and then you've got a nice, more compact song that works better for radio listening. So I think I wholly agree with that, and I think if we could slightly less drawn out, so that middle section or something, or maybe if that middle section's staying, then I would say just drop the music out a little bit, so it's just then the guitar, something else going with it, something coming back in, and then the music comes in, so it's just a bit more ebb and flow.
I agree with you. Let's cut out the middle section here where we have absolutely nothing going on. So there's no kind of like, let's say, just quote unquote viewer retention, right? So we got nothing going on there because there is nothing going on there. And then as far as the ending, like if we trim that from a fade to, kind of like a bit and just kind of like get it over with, I think that could trim it down to a nice 315, 330, somewhere around there where we could make it radio friendly, because at 4 minutes, it is just a little drawn out. Overall, the production quality good. It's just, once again, for my taste, it's kind of like all over the place, but still fine. So as you saw, I followed him just to kind of like see what he'll be up to next. It would be quite interesting. I'll listen to the other song later on here. And where are we now? So we just finished track 5.
Oh yes. So does that mean isn't this one of your picks now, or is it no?
No,
or is it hot off the press?
No, because this would technically be number 8, is what it would be. So we have this one more song to go here before we get to hot off the press. What was your idea for hot off the press anyway?
That is where we go to the new slaps uploads, the latest, very latest one, whatever section it is, whatever genre, we play it.
Front page, brand new,
Yep.
hot off the press. Okay,
Completely hot off the press. So our listeners and viewers are getting the freshest song possible.
Yeah. So I'm recognizing some of this writing here. This writing looks like it could be. Let's see. Is it going to be Finnish? Elias Hoiskar?
Yeah, and it's Barricade, I think they're called, the actual group. So, because I think they list the actual. It's weird because mine is Carlos Fandango,
Right.
but some artists are the individual person who then works with groups, maybe. And I think that's the way it works. Is that whatever the artist name is just above the song.
Yeah, no, because I always sign up to everything as DJX Tech. I'm pretty sure that if I had actually signed up with my full legal name, then that's what would have probably been up there. Okay, so it's a Barricade. Not spelled the traditional way. Obviously, you can see it on screen here. It will be in the links also. So when I saw her face, it's a rock song. All right, breaking away a little bit here. Okay, so rock song. Any kind of preface to this?
Only my comments on there. I like the whole way part. And when you'll see when you come to it. But I had a little I've put a comment that how I'd be inclined to do it, maybe as a 12-inch version, or start the song with that so that you're familiar with that to start with. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, well, let's check it out. So this is Barricade with When I Saw Her Face.
My blood came rushing through my body. She sat down in the bar, grabbed my guitar and started playing something melodic. I could see it in her eyes that something was working. It was written in the stars where for so long been searching. She was feeling the vibe, there was nothing to hide, so we both got up and started rocking. Late at night, someone started a fight, so we called a cab to her apartment. I could see it in her eyes that something was working. It was written in the stars where for so long been searching. Through my body, she sat down in the bar, grabbed my guitar and started playing something melodic. I could see it in her eyes that something was working. It was written in the stars where for so long been searching.
Well, I mean, you saw my comment there. Fantastic for a debut. Nicely done. Couple of fires given to them. I followed them. I think that they're going to be somebody to pay attention to. I think that as far as this song is concerned for an intro debut, I see what you're saying about the oh way. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying about that. But I mean, overall, this just kind of like rocked because it has like that has a great opening with a funk vibe, and it goes into what we would call here in America probably like country rock, you know. So it kind of like
Yeah.
has that feel to it, but it's definitely like listen, the time is right, it's radio worthy.
Mm.
This could definitely develop a very quick following for sure.
Mm.
Depending on which city you play it in, what radio station would actually pick it up. But I mean, there's even a good bit of promotion on this. I think would go a long way. That this song would be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. It's yeah, not. I mean, I sort of revised my comments slightly in terms. Well, actually, no. Let's think for a single version. I think I still want to hear a bit more of a guitar solo in there somewhere because it's that kind of song. So it feels like it doesn't. It didn't lack for it, but it just you can imagine it being in there. So if I was going to say a 4.5 minute or 4 minute 12-inch version, I would start. The riff is really strong, so it hooks you in
Mm.
straight away. However, with the 12-inch version, I would probably start with the beat strong. Maybe the bass comes in, but then have the vocals oh way oh hey, and just have that going on, just for a bit, a few bars, then get into the riff, and yeah, then go for the song, then add a guitar solo just to extend the song for an album version or 12-inch, because it wouldn't hurt it at all to have those. As it is, it's perfectly fine. You got that sort of sing along bit of it, and the reason I would have that potentially at the start on a version is because when it does come in, it's a bit of a surprise. I always like, if I'm going to have something later in the song, I like to have it in there in some form early on. If it's if it's coming into the song quite late in, I like to then have it familiar by the time you hear it later in.
This is one of this is one of the songs I think personally could very well end up being like maybe like a 7 or 8 minute live version with
Oh,
exactly what you're talking about, right? Because like let's say that we started off the song with like about where the 2.5 minute mark or the 2.5 minute mark, they actually had a little bit of what it was almost a bass solo. But like what you're saying, if you just had the drums kind of like start off and then the bass guitar just kind of like kicked in just to start that song off live, right? And then you get a little bit of the lyrics, and then you go into that ho oh way oh
yeah, you imagine that, and then it's just the
oh
drums.
way oh,
Oh,
right? And everybody's
yeah,
going to be
exactly.
clapping along with it. I could
Mm,
definitely see that, and I mean that would make for an awesome concert spectacle right there.
yeah.
It definitely has the potential to be one of those songs, I think. So great track, good pick, Carl. Very nice, very nice
Yeah,
pick.
thank you. I think as well, just the strong vocals as well. I think at the end it felt a little unsure at the end. It might be just the way they want to tail it off, But I feel like even that they could afford to just beef up the ending with a sort of like a real proper sort of few licks on the guitar or something, and a
Yeah,
real proper sort of ending, so it's really decisive. Either that or fade out. I mean, it probably is. I think it works better probably as a cold cut ending, but as it is
yes,
now.
yeah.
But there's so many ways. This is the thing with songs. You just got to pick and choose what's right for the song. It's a good thing for people to who are out there who are making songs. They always think about that end. Yeah, do you want to fade out? Do you want a cold cut? What kind of song is it? How do you want to make it interesting at the end? Do you want to leave people wanting more at the end and to press replay so they play it again? You know,
Yeah.
and it does leave you wanting more. I think with that one, you feel like actually I want to play that one again and hear that riff at the start and get
Yes.
that feeling you get
Yes.
when you hear that riff.
Yes, that once again, that's why I hopped on with a follow right away, is because
Mm,
the song is absolutely, it's definitely follow worthy. The band is follow worthy.
mm.
I can't wait to see what they come up with, in the near future. Hopefully, obviously, since this one was just posted 6 days ago. But as far as radio would go, I would definitely end it with a fade out, just because the DJs like to come on and they like to talk a bit afterwards. You know what I mean? And just kind of like talk about it. So if they have a nice fade out to it, where they're actually fading into to the next song coming up, then this is a great radio version as it is. But on an album version, 100%, I would say extend it a little bit, because it is very hooky, very catchy. It's got you from the get go, and it'll keep you in the song. And so having it a little bit of extended with a nice big boom at the end would just make that make that track really, really, like kind of like a viable competitor for one of the top tracks out there for top 40. I would dare to say.
Absolutely, yeah, and that kind of or it reminded me of something, this kind of catchy sing-alongness of the Jay Giles band Centerfold, that kind of thing, where you just can't help it, you just hooked into that sort of singing and riff and everything, and you just
You have to just because even from the beginning of the song where it starts out, where I mean, you're in there there right off the bat. So if you can imagine like this being probably like, let's say the fourth, fifth, sixth song in a set where they're actually, performing live, then this song is definitely going to be one of those that's going to have you like standing there and like stay at that concert. It's definitely very catchy, very hooky. Nice pick. Very nicely done, Carl.
yeah, thank you.
And very nicely done, Barricade. I should have given you all the credit. Who wrote the song. When I Saw Her Face by Barricade. This will probably go, I'm thinking about starting a section on the YouTube channel, which is going to be the tops of the tops. This is probably going to make the tops of the tops, but we're going to have to, we'll have to give it a month before we get to the tops of the tops. But this is a contender for me.
Good.
I'm going to say so. What say we do? Hot off the press.
Ooh,
Dun,
exciting.
dun, brand new. So that's what we got. Hot off the press. This is let's see, Sunny Prada. That's pop out now. PLZ, please stream, and LMK, let me know what y'all think. Okay, so kind of let's see, for 5 minutes we got 51 fires, 0 saves. Looks like no comments just yet, no follows. Oh, it's 1 play. Okay, so we'll actually be the second people to play this here. So let's see what Sunny's all about first. How about we do that? So Sunny, I'm assuming is going to be from Austin, Texas, USA. Let's see. 2 influences, Keshi and Aries. I don't know who either one of those are, to tell you the truth.
I'm suspecting it's going to be rap rather than pop.
Probably.
But let's see.
I'm assuming so. Let's give. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Sunny instead of Sunny, isn't it? Sunny, just with 1 N, with Prada. Okay, let's check it out.
Mama want me bad, she'd say. Yeah, the girl that don't always play nice. And all these sinners preaching Jesus, just forget him. You don't need it to me. You're finer than fine. If hell on earth is true, then Lord, let me take my time. Yeah, I don't think I'm ready to go. Oh no, as long as your hands in mine. I know the devil could be brighter, like the Dolce and Gabbana's doing something else to me. And all the sinners and preachers try to change your life, just leave it. You're really what I need. Just give your love to me. Oh yeah. You could have my head 10 feet underwater. I'd have no care, no bother. I know we'll be just fine. And you don't give a fuck, just my type. Sure, you could give a damn about one day night. Don't push my luck, told me twice, but I can't help but fantasize. If hell on earth is true, then Lord, let me take my time. 'Cause I don't think I'm ready to go. Oh no, as long as your hands in mine. I know the devil could be brighter, like the Dolce and Gabbana's doing something else to me. And all the sinners and preachers try to change your life, just leave it. You're really what I need. Just give your love to me. Give your love But that noche, nobody's doing something else. It's doing something to me. I know the devil could wear Prada, but that Dolce & Gabbana's doing something else to me, no. And all these sinners, saints and preachers trying to change your life, just leaving you already what I need. Just give your love to me.
Carl, take it
I
away.
was pleasantly surprised there. Actually, I was expecting with the picture, yeah, the photo, everything. I was thinking, looks a bit like it could be a hip hop rap or something. But actually, yeah, I think his vocal was the style of the song and the vocal sounded to me, very heavily influenced by the likes of Ed Sheeran and Jason Mraz.
Yeah.
But feels like he's probably got his own sort of style. It doesn't feel too over auto-tuned. It sounds like he can actually sing, and he'd probably be singing like that live. I like his falsetto because a lot of these people do falsettos and they're not quite. The voice weakens, whereas that I thought was quite good because it didn't weaken as such. It was just a nice gentle falsetto. There's plenty of ebb and flow in there, so it's been produced well. As is particularly the modern thing where it sort of builds up, drops, and so I like all the little twiddly high backing bits, particularly towards the end. You can hear sort of like nice little things going on
Mhm.
in the cans here. It might have been not as clear as it will on the actual proper thing, so I'm bearing that in mind because to me it sounded like the guitar was very lo-fi to start with, but actually then I thought can't be, must be good production because I'm hearing sort of modern production things going on in there. And actually it's a lot of potential there, if he's writing his own stuff and he's getting well produced like that or home producing in that to that standard, then that's one to watch potentially. Definitely radio friendly, definitely listenable, easy on the ears, pleasant tune, and you can you got that chorus happens enough to remember it, I think, as well. And it sounds Ed Sheeran enough to be popular.
Follow worthy.
I think so, because it's probably interesting to see what comes next. I don't know what the previous track was like. We can find out another time. But yeah, I think it's follow worthy. He's clearly doing 3 minutes 17 sort of pop tracks, and it's he's put the category as pop, definitely pop.
I think I honestly think that he's being groomed. Listening to it from my end here is I think that he's working with somebody that's a professional. Unless he's doing this himself, in which case then he's doing fantastically because this was a very pleasant surprise. This is kind of like what the underground sound is all about, is finding these new musicians that just like kind of like pop, and for something that kind of like we didn't know what to expect, because usually you'd expect some kind of like maybe somebody threw a beat out or whatever it is, right? But here we go, hot off the presses. On the very homepage, the very newest song that you get is from this gentleman, Suni. I'm going to assume Prada. The vocals were done very well.
Yeah, I agree.
The guitar was done very well. Everything was done very well here. This is a professional production through and through, 100%. It's radio worthy. It's just the right length, and like you said, it has those dips where it keeps that build up going, right? So it definitely has that Sheeran-esque kind of quality to it. And just the style of the singing itself, he has that low pitch and high pitch voice at the same time, which makes it all that much more intriguing, I think, personally. But yeah, I'm gonna give this one an A, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, once again, what the underground sound is about: finding new musicians, playing the music, and giving them a venue here, because hey, if like, go check this guy out. Get the links in the description. Go check these artists out just for a second. Throw them a couple of fires, throw them a save, throw them a like, whatever the case may be. Let's get these musicians onto the radio. Let's get these musicians onto our playlist on Spotify. Let's get this music going so that way we can get these musicians the recognition that they deserve, rather than hearing the same crap that we hear on the radio over and over again. Once again, not hating on the mainstream at all. I know that the mainstream, those guys too, have put in their time. They've done their due diligence. They've worked the system. They got a record deal, and now the record deal's buying airtime for them. I get it. I understand what it's all about. But the whole thing is that we don't just need to focus on the mainstream recordings. Let's give our guys here like Suni and Matthew beforehand. Let's give them the recognition that they deserve, because those songs are going to be something that's enjoyable not only now but in the future. So they could be classics. You could be helping out making a classic.
Well, the thing is, you see, you never know. I mean, I always approach songwriting like the next song could be the best one I ever write, which might not be good enough to be the best song ever or anything like near it. But I always think like that because I know that, there's potentially my best song, the best song I've got in me just around the corner, always there, potentially lurking. I might have written it years ago and already recorded it. And that's the best I can do. But I feel like there's more. And this guy, if he's writing his own stuff, then he's got potential to do much more if it's this kind of standard. Okay, it is the modern style of things, the Ed Sheeran way, the Jason Mraz thing, but that is popular. I mean, Ed Sheeran's so popular, and he's got a lot of that in him, but he's kind of got his own style as well. So I genuinely thought actually it was a real pleasant surprise to hear somebody doing what I would call a singing without too much,
Yeah.
in terms of auto-tune effects or anything. Just okay, there'll be effects on the voice because everybody is auto-tuned these days to a degree, whether they're using it just as an effect or actually just to tune the voice and tweak the vocal. But he's got a nice voice, a good voice, so lots of potential, and nice delivery as well.
Yes, yes, yes. The delivery is everything. So, the ad-libbing in the background is awesome.
Yeah.
Everything that's working, especially if you just listen to it in this break here, like real quick. So you had that little bit of guitar, then you had that ad lib with the reverb and chorus in the background, and then obviously he's going to start with his full vocals there. I'm telling you, this is 100%. If he's doing, if he's actually producing this and doing this himself, then even that much better. If he's writing and composing his music, this kind of like reminds me. This guy reminds me of. Not the genre of music, but he really reminds me of Silas Dean. Silas Dean is another artist that I think has
Yes.
superstar written all over him, all over him. Silas is just one of those artists that he's going to hit that breakout point, and he's going to become the hottest thing under the sun. This guy has the potential to be, on those tracks with this particular genre. You know what I mean? Because listen, Ed Sheeran's not going to be around forever. Nobody is around forever, right? The Beatles weren't around forever. Metallica's not around. Well, Metallica is around forever, but you know what I mean, right? As time progresses, new musicians come in and they take the spotlight, right? So as that happens, I do think that this song, in particular, because this is the one that we're going to review today, I think that this song in particular has the chance to make it on the radio and actually have an impact into this gentleman's career here.
I've given it some fire as well, followed him and put a comment on as well. So
Yep.
just try and give him some love, support, and help your fellow artists, because he's a young guy as well. So he's got the world ahead of him. I mean, a bald, middle-aged, beardy guy, and nobody's going to want to promote me, but myself now. Yeah, but he's a good-looking young guy. He's got the world ahead of him. He can sing properly. I can't claim to sing properly. Do my best, but he's got everything going for him at this age, while he's young, and he's just got to go for it. If he's got that kind of talent, just go for it.
Absolutely. No mistakes, no regrets. Great kind of thing going on here. So welcome back from our break to the Underground Sound. Just real quick, what we're going to try to do here is on this day in history, in music history for that matter. So let's go through it. May 20th, 1954, Billy Haley and the comments, I should say, not in the comments. By the way, leave a comment for us. But Billy Haley and the comments released Rock Around the Clock. Going up to 1970, the Beatles film Let It Be opened in the UK. 1977, the stage show Beatlemania opened in Winter Garden Theater, New York. In 1978, the Buddy Holly story premiered in Lubbock, Texas. And in 1980, Kiss released their album Unmasked. So that's a little bit of this day in history. On this day in history, music history will be posted in the description. So be sure to check the description out. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you like what's going on with our channel here. Carlos Fandango, DJ X Tech, back from the break to bring you more new music here from independent artists. Let's get the screen sharing going back up here. And our next artist coming up is Justine Painter with a song called Desert Relics, marked as electronic and ambience. Do you have any kind of preface to this song, Carl?
Yeah, I like this one. There's a couple of hers I like, and I've sort of connected with her, direct messaging back and forth. We may do a collaboration at some point because she's trading as she's her artist name is Wayward Waves, and she's a new artist, very shy, but she's aiming to do a song a month or track a month, and it's all instrumental stuff. And I think, feels like it's heavily influenced by Jar and Vangelis. And I was just saying to her the other day, would love to do a John and Vangelis type of track. And then, of course, lo and behold, Vangelis passed away the other day. So it was a real shock to, it's a big part of my teenage years, listening to a lot of the instrumental synth electronic stuff, and I love it. And it was just strange that I'd been talking to her so much about, that kind of doing that kind of track. Really, nice, keen artist, and was extremely flattered when I said I'd like to feature this on the show. And she was very flattered by that, and it comes across as a very genuine person who does her music in earnest. And I think she's got a lot to bring to the table.
Well, let's check it out now, and we'll get into some comments after this. Song is a bit long at 5 minutes, but we're going to listen to the whole thing. So, Wayward Waves by Justine Painter. This one is called Desert Relics. Take away the comments, Carl. I'm pretty sure you saw what I wrote. So
Yeah, good. It's I yeah, for me it was a bit of a lot of Jean Michel Jarre. I mean, she sort of when I mentioned it to Justine about the Jean Michel Jarre sort of influence, she said, "Well, I used to listen to him a lot. It's probably there buried deep down as an influence, and it's just come out now. But that's very sort of late 80s. I think it was his 1987-ish album or 88 Revolutions album that where it sort of had a more of a world flavor to it, and I love that sound. It's sort of like an electronica synth version of Zeppelin's Kashmir type thing, that sort of feel, that sort of nice stomping sort of incessant beat, but it does ebb and flow nicely. I'm always on about ebb and flow, but it really does. My favorite bit is the
yeah.
at 3 minutes 42. There's a lovely, so it drops out, and then that big big beat thing drops back in again. It just sounds awesome. But yeah, it develops. There's new sounds being introduced all the way through, new instruments, and it's nicely paced, and it's sort of things come and go, keeps your interest, holds your interest. But yeah, so overall, yeah, I love that kind of music. But there's a couple of tracks of hers I really like, and definitely see some potential. I think she's going to keep making some good music.
Yeah. So as I mentioned in my comment, there is that I could definitely see this being licensable music. There's definitely in that particular song. I'll have to check out a few more songs of hers, but in that particular song, there was definitely a Middle Eastern influence to it. You could hear it, from the kind of like synthetic sitar and everything like that. That's kind of like going on in the background and everything. But it's one of those songs where I can picture lyrics being there. I can picture vocals being there, but it works without it also because like if you were going to have opening credits for like let's say a movie like Mission Impossible, the modern version, of course, like with Tom Cruise, right? If you were to have a movie like that and you were to have that song as the opening credits, where there's a lot of kind of like stuff going on that makes it kind of like look like very mysterious and like what's happening, and then I could definitely see that, or barring the opening credits, then definitely ending credits or mid-song soundtrack, whichever would work. Kind of like, even though it has that Middle Eastern feel to it, it definitely has like that kind of like a little bit of espionage kind of feel going for it as well. So
True.
kind of like even maybe James Bondish, I would dare to say.
Yeah.
I could definitely see the song, multiple places, but the production quality is great. There's no doubt about that. Where the lows are lows, the highs are highs. Everything's working there. So very, very, very well done to Justin Painter, Wayward Waves. Little snippet here saying that Justin Painter, the name of Wayward Waves, stuck in honor of her father, who was as a writer, sometimes used Wayward Watson as his trade name. So in honor of her father. So very well done, Justine here.
Really
Like,
impressed. Yeah.
great song, very impressed. So just skip over to Tom's pick of the fortnight real quick because I know that we're running short on time here. Carlos and I were really trying to make this a shorter show. Maybe who knows? Maybe we'll end up streaming 24 hours a day with some stunt doubles, I guess.
We'll have to have some sort of timer or something. We just a little 30 seconds or something. We'll just say everything quickly.
Right, ding, 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 something like that.
Yeah, bell. Well, I you know what? I always keep it handy.
Do you have a purple bell of destiny? Is that what it is?
Silver bell of destiny. Yeah.
The silver bell of destiny said.
Silver bell of death.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up. Dave Chappelle had something like that where he had like that wrap it up sign, which was a pretty funny kind of like. Yeah, so just going to my pick of the fortnight. I got to tell you, obviously, since you were just talking about Justine here and you were talking about Vangelis, obviously big news, a tragic loss for the music world right there. I know we're about independent artists, but it's good to share some mainstream news as well, because this is definitely a loss for the music world for sure. I know that you have a deeper connection with his music from your teenagers because you had pointed out a lot of songs that I had not even known about, and I listened to them, and they were all fantastic. And I mean, when you're talking about Jean-Michel Jarre and Jean-Michel Jarre and Vangelis, right? You kind of like get into this feeling where I mean, they're just top-notch composers. Like,
Oh yeah,
what
yeah.
can you say about them other than, utter brilliance? And so, just because it happens to be the most popular song that he has composed for let's say commercial value. We're going to, in honor of Vangelis, there will be a link, obviously, to the full article. I don't want to get into on the show of why he passed or anything like that, or how he passed, I should say. Just most popular one here is obviously Chariots of Fire. I'm pretty sure that most of you can already picture the rhythm and the melody of it as we're just talking about it. But there's something to be said about the creativity for the time, because this movie was released in 1981, and back then it took 2 to 3 years to release a movie. So creating a soundtrack was something important. So if you're thinking about back into the late 70s, early 80s, to have this kind of dedication to your style, where you're talking about like this kind of this the Moog kind of like synthesizer feel to it, along with the classic piano just playing, right? Then you could
Mhm.
then this just really brings the talent out into everything here. And yeah, just as a special tribute, if you'd like to say some words here, then we'll carry on with Chariots of Fire.
To
Oh,
Vangelis.
there you go. Here we go. To Vangelis, I'm going to let you take away the comments here. I know that obviously from what you had mentioned, a very deep impact on your teenage life. Please, dude.
Well, and beyond, well beyond. I mean, I in later years, I remember, just sometimes you go through these patches where things in life go against you and stuff, and you sort of just struggling to get by and all that. And at night time, I'd have to sort of settle myself, put the earphones on, and listen to something relaxing. And I got into one of his albums, Soil Festivities, the album with the crab on it, and just yeah, that album's just fantastic. But so many of the albums are great, and yeah, really experimental as well. And Albedo 0.39 and tracks like that, really unusual and spacey. To the Unknown Man was used on a World Snooker Championships frame of the week or shot of the week or whatever it was. But it was, it had a lot of ties in. The music was used, I mean, to great effect there. I mean, how someone can capture the glory, the passion, the running, and all those visuals just so well and embody it in music like that, with that pulse as well, that insistent dum, 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 that goes all the way through the song
Yeah.
statically. It's just fantastic. So, but an Oscar-winning soundtrack, quite rightly so. A fusion. I like the fusion of the orchestral with the
Yes.
synthesizer,
Yes.
and
Absolutely.
its proper sort of composition, and makes it just pure magical music. So I just think, it's timeless. It will always be with us. He's left us a legacy of great music, and has gifted the world with that music. It's fantastic.
Uh, One of very few, obviously, and if you look at that video and you watch that video, you could actually see the sections where he breaks off, and he's using like the Moog synthesis, the old one, right, where you actually had to plug the cable in here and the cable in here to get the different sounds. So just imagine how long this song actually took to compose. Isn't like like we could put it together in like 2 or 3 days like we can now, because everything's at our fingertips with the computers and obviously the VSTs that we use and everything like that. This was sure unadulterated, unbridled talent through and through, 100%. This is something that's coming from his mind to his fingertips to his and he probably said many a times, no, I don't like that particular sound. It has to be this sound. And it became one of those songs and one of those sounds, which is just basically kind of utters just sheer, pride and victory in it. And you can feel it. And if you haven't watched the movie, I know it's a little dull for a lot of people, but If you haven't watched the movie, then watch it because it does just entail just that. It is of pride and victory, and taking that extra step to be the best that you possibly can be. And for Vangelis, once again, raise our glasses here. So,
Yeah, cheers.
cheers. A loss for the music world, but a gain for the history and music books.
Absolutely.
All right.
Very good. Yeah, I was surprised actually how when I heard the news. It's funny because some artists, I think, if Kate Bush ever went, or Bob Dylan, or there's certain artists that are still left. Luckily, fortunately, still with us. That I think, that's going to have I'm going to really struggle for days after that. But that was one that it really hit me more than I thought it would. I just didn't expect it, and then I thought, and I was just really, really sad, really upset for the whole evening, just thinking, gosh, I just feel just.
I was like that after.
Distraught.
I was like that after. First was Kurt Cobain. I was like that after Kurt Cobain, and then I was like that after Tom Petty, where it just really seemed like it was just a shame to have lost them, and especially with Kurt Cobain having to have lost him the way that we did lose him, because I mean, for crying out loud, he created a brand new genre and just a brand new impact on the world. Going back to when we're talking about the Doors and the Beatles and everybody kind of like leaving their mark on the world, Nirvana was one of those bands that absolutely did that, and Kurt Cobain being the frontman for it. So it was a tragic loss. It was a stupid loss, obviously. Crazy. If anyone's ever thinking about hurting themselves, trust me, there are different outlets for that. Definitely contact a family member, somebody. There's a crisis hotline that you can call if you're ever feeling like that. Trust me, your life is worth more than the way that you're feeling at this particular moment. So talk to somebody, get your problems out there, and kind of like leave it at that. And but Tom Petty was definitely, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Obviously, Tom Petty was a heartbreaking loss, just because the one song that always sticks with me through my childhood is Last Dance with Mary Jane. It was just like kind of like one of those songs where you can't ignore that guitar riff, the opening guitar. When you hear the guitar riff, you know exactly what song is coming on. It's an iconic and epic song, and we could talk about a lot of artists like that, just kind of like
yeah. I mean, it's interesting for Tom Petty. I always liked the stuff he did with Jeff Lynne producing, and with the Wilburys, but there was a song that I was quite late to discover called "Room at the Top," and it's just such a beautiful song. But it's something about his delivery, and it just makes me absolutely cry. And it's it's amazing how just one of his songs in particular really hits the spot. And it's like that with music. There can be something that just connects with you for some unknown reason. And it's brilliant. Yeah, it's great.
Well, it's like the same thing with comedy, right? Because comedy is subjective, so comedy will hit you in different ways, And I mean, we should never take comedy, especially with in light of recent things that have been happening. I don't know if you've been up on the news where somebody actually attacked Dave Chappelle with a gun that actually had a knife in it, which is just absolutely ridiculous. You don't attack people's, for telling jokes. I mean, listen, jokes are subjective. We shouldn't get offended by them. The whole thing is that it's a different craft in itself. Once again, let's stick out of the political nature of things here, but seriously, but it's just the same thing with music. Music will hit you in certain ways, so Tom Petty definitely had that delivery where it was kind of like spoken word, very, very minimal effects on the voice and the vocals and everything like that, right? So it was just all natural talent, just like what we showed with Vangelis there, right? So hey. And one of my dreams is that we will actually discover somebody like that on either this show or the Ones and Twos Undergrounds, whichever it may be. Will be fine with me. Right here, I know exactly who you put on here. I don't know if I've heard this song yet or not. You put it on the list, but I don't know if I heard it before or not. But Smart Monkey. Here we go. We're going to take this away with "Going Somewhere." I think proper ending for that song.
Mm.
Definitely cuts off at the end. So, Carl, your thoughts first, because I got a couple.
Yeah, I mean, my comments on the actual track. I said to Smart Monkey that I love that section from 2:05 with the really sort of high synthy sort of thing going on to 2 minutes 23, and that bit that immediately followed it was just like I thought, yes, I like it because the song the track itself isn't always something I'd listen to. Although that kind of thing there's a lot of obviously thumping, insistent beat. And that boop, 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 that nice sort of thing going on there, to transition from one section to another. The changes were seamless, and the samples. Well, I don't know if it's self-created stuff or samples, but using world instruments in there as well. There's just a lot of nice sounds and changes going on there. So there's plenty going on to keep you interested all through. Really impressed, actually. Good.
Yeah, we've been communicating via email the past couple of days here, and so I have heard this one before. It's just obviously memory retention isn't there, so I have to, it's like I'm hearing it fresh for the first time, which is very nice. So
Yeah.
one of the comments that I made to him through email was the fact that he doesn't stick to a traditional like kind of like 4/4 kind of like rhythm on his music, right? Like with me, that's kind of like where I stick is like a 4/4 and it's like boom, 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 boom. Then you bring in the hi-hats, then you bring in whatever the case may be, so you work the song around that kind of like that pace and that tempo and everything, right? Where his is very eclectic, it seems, because there was one song that I was listening to. Let me see if my comment will pop up, which I don't think it was Alien Forces. It wasn't going somewhere because we just listened to that. Chilling in a Sea of Dreams, was this one?
That was the more computer sort of gaming track. That one.
Yeah, let me see. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here you see my comment. It's a completely different genre, of course, but if you remember the band Sublime, I could definitely see this as one of their tracks. Some good backing vocals on this would take a long way. Definitely lo-fi and very chill. Nice job. So that's one of the things is not only does he not stick to a specific pattern of the music arrangement, but he definitely has his own vibe for each individual song, whereas that one was definitely way more Crystal Method or Chemical Brothers, whereas this one was like kind of like rock, kind of like ska-ish, like Sublime was, right? So he has different versions going on with his kind of like contemporary style, which I think makes him a great musician and just an innovator, and happens to be one of your fellow countrymen as well. So hey,
all right.
from
Do
the
I
UK.
just imagined he'd be American for some reason. Oh,
Mm.
sorry, you're from the UK. So he is UK.
That's just racist, Carl.
Racist.
Or continist, I guess, right?
What'd I say? Yeah, that's good. He's interesting stuff because he'd uploaded the Alien Forces purely because when I messaged him and mentioned something, for some reason, I think I'd said to him about one of my tracks, have a listen to. Yeah, because my slightly more dancey tracks, I suppose, beaty tracks would be Message to Mars. And I said to him, have a listen to that. That was influenced by Jeff Wayne. So he uploaded Alien Forces and said this was his. Oddly enough, it doesn't sound a bit like Jeff Wayne, pretty much, apart from certain aspects, and yet it was totally influenced by him. So it just goes to show how music can influence people to do something completely different. But the influence is still there, lurking in the background. And for him, Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds as a kid was pretty magical for him, and hugely influential. And I remember seeing that album and that cover and the artwork was just phenomenal. And then finally properly hearing the album years later and just being blown away by it. And I still love it to this. Still one of my easy top 20 favorite albums, maybe top 10. Because it's just so good.
Here's a question for you. Somebody posed this question a long time ago. So you have an iPod with unlimited power on it. but you can only take one song with you. You're going to get trapped on a deserted island. You just know this for some reason, right? But you're going to get trapped on a deserted island. You have an iPod, but you are only able to have one song on it. So this is what you will listen to till the end of your days.
Hmm.
What song are you choosing?
Oh, it's a tough one because there's so many good songs. It's got to be something that you could listen to and work out, and I don't know. It's difficult because you've been in different moods, different times, and it might have to be a long song that changes a lot. So yeah, we might be going for
All right,
one of
so
those.
let's change up the scenario then, right? Let's change up the scenario and say you have 5 songs.
Yes, tiny bits, yeah, but not much.
I'm gonna go with 5 songs because we have 5 different senses, right? So I'm just gonna say 5 songs. So what songs move you?
So many, so many.
Yeah.
But I suppose, and whilst Sound and Vision is one of my favorite Bowie songs, I'll have to take a Bowie song with me, and it's probably going to be Heroes, the album version that's longer, because it's just absolutely magical.
Mine would be Space Oddity.
I would, yes, I love that as well. It's great. Yeah, it's just so many of his are good.
I mean, when you're talking about adventure and triumph and overcoming obstacles and just, fear of the unknown and anything that you can imagine, I mean, Space Oddity has to be it.
Yeah. Oh, but there's so many though. There's so many good songs.
Too much to talk about for a podcast that we're trying to keep it at.
Yeah, better not go into that.
Right? Because then we're just going to see here, like, seriously, because if we just get into Bowie songs, then we're going to move into we're going to move into geez, for crying out loud.
Oh, there's Beatles, Queen, and there's so many.
I don't know, but I'm just like,
and the other thing is,
Elton John is who I'm thinking about.
Right.
If we're going to get into Elton John, then we're going to get into the Beatles, and then we're going to get into Eminem, and then we're going to have this whole thing. You know what I mean? It's just going to.
If it's Elton John, I suppose I'd have to go Rocket Man because it's just got such a magical. That guitar, the production in Rocket. In fact, maybe Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, but the backing vocals on those songs are absolutely phenomenal. And it was only when I was watching one of those we were talking about it recently, weren't we? I think classic albums, and they featured the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album and the backing vocals on it. Yeah, because they do the isolated tracks and on the mixing desk, and it sort of draws your attention to it because you just got wrapped up in this. It's like I was listening the other day to the back, because I'm doing a Beach Boys style song, as if it's a Beach Boys lost song. Now, I immerse myself in the Beach Boys. I listen to the tracks. I listen to the backing tracks, and always on YouTube. Yeah, you've got lots of reference points, and there's the backing tracks made by the Wrecking Crew. Ultimately, the people who did all the Phil Spector songs, and a lot of the Beach Boys backing tracks, and you listen to the quality of the stuff and just the detail. Now, I was listening to California Girls, and that lovely dum da dum da dum da dum. Oh, sorry, that wouldn't it be nice? Dum 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 da dum dum dum. So you got all this going on, and I'm thinking, right, I'm going to listen just to the Hal Blaine drum part, try and get an idea of the sound, what he does, all that kind of thing, so I can really immerse myself and find out how Hal Blaine drums, and try and replicate that when I go to record it. And but I listened, and immediately I wanted to sing the song, and I'm sort of into the song. Right, I forgot to listen to the drums. Started again, played it again, and it's so good that I did about 5 times before I actually started listening to the drums.
Because you forget about being a musician and being a fan,
and you listen to the song, and you get hooked into the song.
Yes,
and you're away, and you think,
it drags you away, and that's that's one song that I could say for sure does that for me every single time. Is when Pink Floyd's The Wall comes on. Mm-hmm. It's just like, forget it. I'm in a trance state right there. I mean, there's just, because when you're talking about the little details and just like the little guitars going here and the backing vocals, obviously with the children and everything like that later on, right when we get into part 2 and part 3 and everything like that, it's such an amazing put together song. So much well-made music back in the day. He has definitely spawned My bad. Your country has definitely spawned a lot of music that was
Mm.
from a lot of artists that are just absolutely phenomenal, and it's kind of weird.
Well, it's strange because when I was growing up and teenager, and you sort of you have uh, bands like Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin, for some reason, a lot of them, because I think they try and emulate the American sort of sound, or like they were Stones. I knew they were British, but they always try and sing in a sort of kind of cod American way because a lot of their influences were all the old blues artists, of the traditional blues artists, and they used to get the records imported from American stuff, get the latest one. So they were massive fans. So they sung like that, and the Beatles did to an extent, although they kept a bit more of their accent in the music. Now, what was the point I was going to make? Yeah, so because of that, I sort of thought artists like Black Sabbath were, say, American, because I thought, oh, well, they must be American because they've got that sort of sound. And lo and behold, they're from Birmingham in England, and Led Zeppelin are from England, and ELO obviously Birmingham again, and you've got all these obviously Beatles and Stones and the Hollies and the Kinks and Queen, and you just got this raft of stuff. You think, what? Yeah, Bowie, Kate Bush. There's just endless amount of stuff. I mean, America's produced so many great artists as well, but they, a lot of the time they tend to be solo artists. Very often, it seems, Elvis, just Roy Orbison and Everly Brothers, Simon and Garfunkel. He's got so many good artists from America as well. So, and Chuck Berry, and just a whole raft of Motown and Atlantic soul singers, Otis Redding, and then you've got Sam Cooke. So, but it's a lot of, I think, America was probably stronger on the solo artists, and England, for some reason, was stronger on the bands. It seems to me, generally speaking, but it's not exclusive that way. But I think, the 70s certainly was a very creative time, and 60s, for the English music and and British music, and exported it to the world. And we're certainly richer for both nations have produced so many good artists and so many good songs.
Right. So just to the point that you're making, when you were listening to Ozzy and Black Sabbath back in the day, were you just like thinking like, who the hell is this schmuck?
Well, I just assumed because of the way he acted, if you know what I mean, it was probably brash and American,
right? So, yeah,
because that's that sort of level of confidence. I don't expect him to be a brummie.
Okay.
Just the way I thought of it, but whereas.
So the culture clashes that you think that somebody in America would bite the head off a bat quicker than somebody. You guys had
probably, just a bit more confidence. So probably bite the head off a bat with more confidence. Like Alice Cooper would pull the head off a chicken with more confidence than someone else. But
with more confidence, how much confidence do you need?
I know Americans are very confident.
Like bite off a monkey, so,
I don't know. British generally more reserved, aren't they? But when it comes to the theatrical, but then a lot of these artists, very shy and reserved, quiet people, and then suddenly they come alive when they go on the stage.
It's kind of like, just because you were talking about just British people being more reserved. So I saw a meme of this. I totally forgot about it just until you said that.
Right.
I'm just gonna have to look this up here.
Do you know, it's funny. I see these artists on there. You got the Alexander Kislitsyn. Now I'm thinking to myself, right? And I heard it a couple of times because I listened through it a couple of times. Thought, yep, that's good. That would be good for the show. Now, it's amazing how fishbowl my memory is, and because I'm thinking, how did that one go again? Totally forgotten. Which may or may not be a good thing.
I'm sorry, my mind was preoccupied with this.
That's right. So you found the meme?
I did, yes. So here, I'm gonna have to stop this one real quick. I know that, oh my goodness, see, we get on a time crunch, and then we're talking about.
Well, we can always edit it out, can't we?
Yeah. So here we go. So this is So this was a meme that was British porn be like, yes, splendid. Indeed, scrumptious. Carry on. Oh my God, I'm arriving. Which is the one that I saw, but I mean,
oh, the train's arriving at the station.
You get it though, because when you're saying that British people are a little reserved, then that's exactly like
Yeah, I think
what I'm
more
thinking.
so in the past. Now we've sort of kind of just become too open, way open. There's less of the British stiff upper lip and pull your socks up and carry on with it. It's all kind of less stoicism and more hang your dirty laundry out for everyone to see.
Right.
But yeah, we were definitely everyone was more reserved then and a bit prudish about NX. They used to sort of if people were saying about things like that over the fence, talking ladies talking to each other over the fence, neighbours, and did you know he had X? Yeah, they wouldn't say the word. They're sort of saying it in a weird way, but it's that kind of thing where just certain words would be
Like a couple of
spelled
kids
out.
out on the playground.
Yeah, just spelled out really, rather than said. So, but now things have changed drastically. So, but yes, I think people are generally more reserved, and it always, some things just Americans are better at saying and doing because they've got the confidence and the accent as well. And that was something that was interesting. And we're going off piece now, but we can edit this out. But the other day, I noticed because when we were kids playing, there'd be a lot of times we'd be playing war and doing all the machine gun things, but so we'd be either Germans or English, that kind of thing. But when we would generally, because a lot of the television shows that were imported across, like $6 Million Man, Incredible Hulk, and all sorts of cartoons and programs from America, the Fall Guy and all that, and the A-Team. Now, as youngsters, we'd often put on American accents because we're always influenced by America hugely, for the good and bad parts come over, a few years after they've been at America for a few years. So I thought the other day, that's interesting because I heard some kids sort of doing an American accent the other day, and I thought, so they still do that sort of thing. Do American kids ever put on British accents and say, jolly good, nice to see you, old boy, all that kind of thing, and tip top. So do you as kids do that, or do you just play as yourselves? Because America's always been seen as the sort of
Well, the biggest thing when I was growing up in this country, right, was we did cowboys and Indians and
yes
cops and robbers.
all right
Those were our two big things. So it kind of seems like I've seen some younger people doing this now with tea parties, especially, where they'll kind of like throw on a bit of a cheesy kind of like a stereotypical British accent, like, oh, it's tea time, love, yes.
right okay.
Yeah, so something like that. But no, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that. But but a lot of I would say more in terms of when we're talking about entertainment, I would say a lot more movies have made their way over to European culture as opposed to music, because music obviously being a big thing, but we, for the most part, have always been probably about 5 or 6 months behind Europe. When Faithless released Insomnia, we were about 6 months behind to hear that.
Right.
When Prodigy had released, obviously because Prodigy is just down the street in London, or they weren't in London. Where the hell were they? They weren't in Manchester. I'm trying to think where Liam was from exactly. I don't remember. Liam and Keith were the two frontmen for it. Maxim later on came into the game. Anyway, they were somewhere in England, right? We didn't know about that song until about 6 months later, until it broke in the UK first. Same thing happened with it was Faithless, Prodigy. I had another example that I was thinking about. Oh, Robert Miles with Children.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Robert Miles with Children. Yes, beautiful melody, great melody.
That one.
Instant success, right? We didn't know about that. Like my cousin came to visit from Poland, and he was like, "You guys are just like hearing this on the radio now," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's a brand new song." He's like, "No, it's been out for a while, bro."
All right, it's interesting. It's always fascinated me the difference between the American and the UK market, and It's when you go on YouTube and say do a playlist of number ones of the 70s, and it's an American person who's put it on and put on the Billboard number ones, whereas the UK number ones, and you compare the two, some translate and some are big hits, and a lot of UK artists didn't manage to break into the USA, and some, like Depeche Mode, didn't until about 10 years into their career. So it's always fascinates me how some things in America that tend towards traditionally, more rock oriented and
Yeah.
country rock and stuff. That was very big. Whereas, there's a lot of quirky sort of odd sounds coming from the UK that just didn't seem to make a dent in the American market because it was just a bit too odd and eccentric, maybe. I don't know what it was, but that always fascinates me, the difference, because the listenership, it's just totally different world.
I never understood punk for the longest time, man. Like I would hear like the Sex Pistols and and like not Billy Idol. I was gonna say Billy Joel, but it's not Billy Joel. Billy Idol.
Billy Joel doing
I
punk.
would be like, oh my god, like what is this? Like I couldn't wrap my head around it. But obviously later, once the fondness for music grew, and I started hearing it later. I started hearing the subtleties, and I kind of like started getting the point across in my own mind. Because see, I was always into EDM, obviously, just because if you listen to my music, it's very hard on EDM and techno trance and everything like that. But that was never popular here. But I wasn't really concerned about the popularity. It was just kind of like the way that I felt like I could express myself without like picking up the guitar and singing or having to write lyrics or anything like that. I've wrote lyrics. I actually started writing a book at one point, which has nothing to do with any of the lyrics or anything like that. I just kind of like wanted to write a story. So I am creative, just in nature. But uh, a lot of the music in the U.S. tends to be like, if it doesn't have any lyrics behind it, it's not kind of like if it doesn't have a guitar, if it doesn't have any lyrics in any kind of like bass, it's not really going to like have any kind of like huge impact on it, right? So
Right.
even when you look back in the day where Dr. Dre was an actual DJ and he was spinning techno at a club that he was working at, and he was trying to work out this whole rap thing in his mind. If you just take a look at that, where everybody told him like, this is not going to work, this is not going to work, this is not going to work.
Mhm.
Well, lo and behold, Dr. Dre is called Dr. Dre. He's called the doctor for a reason, because give him a song and he's going to make it number one. And he's made a lot of number one artists, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, a lot of people. So a lot of people thought that hip hop just was never going to fly. But I mean, I was a fan of Dr. Dre from that very first lick that I heard, the very first time that I ever heard it. Man, I was just like, yep. It's just something that sticks with you,
Mm.
when you get that kind of effect on people, then it just sticks with you. But those songs coming over had really made a huge cultural impact on the United States. They really had.
Mm.
Because Polish people had listened to them, Russian people had listened to them. There's obviously a lot of immigrants in the United States. The music was just never really mainstream. But when Prodigy came out with Firestarter, and that song translated over here, once again, speeding tickets rose by 600%.
That's incredible, isn't it? It is incredible.
It seriously is, because now we're talking about something that that's overseas. It's not the a popular type of music in the United States for any kind of like stretch of the imagination. But now everybody is like literally just cranking this one song, and this is what one song can do. This is the power of one song. Literally everybody is cranking this inside their cars, hitting the gas, getting speeding tickets up the ass, as it were, because 600% increase in speeding tickets is nothing to kind of like joke about. And all the requests I remember, there was a radio DJ that actually got suspended for it, because everybody was calling in to request that song. They wanted
Wow.
to hear Firestarter, so he played it like 30 times in a row. He actually ended up getting suspended from the radio station because they were like, we can't just play the same song all the goddamn time. So this was circa what, 1997, probably, something
Mm.
like that. Yeah. So yeah, they've been around for a while, and it's awesome to think about, like you said, the cultural differences and the impacts that different music has from different areas. And yeah, man, this is why I personally think that music is one of the best things in the world, because
Mm.
we're about to listen to Alexander Kislison, is what it looks like.
Yeah, Kislison, yeah.
So,
He's a violinist and violist, producer, educator, artist. So yeah, I mean this one really, I think if I remember rightly, pricked my ears up. Just the violin playing, mainly. But yeah, nice fusion of EDM, which is in your sort of ballpark area, and but with real instruments again. The combination of fusion, I love. I mean, it's like Gary Newman's music, when he's sort of basically sort of kind of this post-punk synthesized music, but also real instruments. The music industry was railed against Gary Newman quite a lot because they thought he was going to put real musicians out of work. But really, when in hindsight, it's using real bass, real drums, synthesized bass slightly as well, and synthesizers, real voice, some real guitars. It's just like I can't believe they trashed him for it,
right.
because the fusion of the synthesized music with the real music, it was just such a good blend. It sounded so futuristic. Still sounds amazing now, like Cars or our friends Electric, are just so ahead of their time that Cars just it still blows your socks off now when you listen to it. But the fact is, it's that fusion of real, like the Vangelis one, fusion of real and orchestrated instruments.
Yes.
Sorry, synthesized and orchestrated real instruments is such a good combination, and it's pretty magical. And I thought this sort of falls into that category in a way. I like that he's got 90 fire already and 5 saves. That's always a good sign. If because tracks can get a lot of plays and no saves. And for me, that sort of smacks that. Yeah, it's good, but is it worth saving it? Well, if something's worth saving, then it's sort of struck a chord with a few people.
We have 66 views, 90 fires, 5 saves in 4 days. So a total of 66 plays and 6 followers with 1 track. This is kind of strange when I'm looking at the description, when I'm looking at the person, because this really seems very kind of violinish and professional, from Philadelphia, PA, Pennsylvania, obviously. But with this being EDM and violin, but the Mein Lieb, I believe, is German.
Yeah, Meine Liebe. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, okay.
My love, which is my love, isn't it? Liebe.
Lieb?
My love.
Ich liebe dich.
That's right, because on his notes he said he found a sample which perfectly laid on what he'd already written. So, and you'll hear that in there. It's a good use of sample. It just sounds good.
Yeah, the one thing that I still remember from Polish was "Eine meine kleine Schweine," like my one little pig or something like that. But in either case, here we go. Let's talk about Meine Lieb, and Lieb from Alexander
Kislison.
Kislison. Yeah, we'll figure that out later on. Let's get the spell. Just looking at your comment first here. Is this like I'm looking at this? You don't often listen to dance music, Carlos. How dare you?
Yeah, not quite like that, but that was just really when that beat drops, that was great. I mean, I just love it. I like that more now. I've heard it again actually, and I'm glad I saved that one because it reminds me the sample. Oddly enough, there's an artist from the early '80s, late '70s, sort of post-punk again, um, and it was called German artist called Klaus Nomi. Now, here's a couple of his songs,
I don't know about
Lightning.
close.
Really unusual artists. I mean, with the makeup and everything, probably influenced Bowie in Ashes to Ashes, the sort of look and everything, because just really odd looking, but great fun artist. And he did a version of Lightning Strikes, the Lou Christie song, a 60s song, and it's a great version. But there's also, I think, Dido's Lament or something, and but he's done, yes, but it had that kind of feel to it without being dancey. But that's what it reminded me of. But the beat drop, brilliant. Love his violin playing, some lovely sort of bends, and just beautiful playing. And I thought they're just fun enough. We were mentioning about Robert Miles, and
Yeah.
that's got that kind of nice melody to it.
I was actually thinking something a little bit different because obviously he's more into violin than anything else. Uh, I'm just guessing from the picture here, right? But the violin wasn't like overpowering the entire song, right? So the production value was there where everything just really flowed very nicely together. The opening of it was actually I was like thinking something that was modern talking versus Enigma, kind of
Modern
like
Talking,
yeah,
yes.
if you get modern talking, if you especially if you listen to Brother Louis, right, brother,
Yeah.
and you get
My
that,
brother absolutely loves Modern Talking, and he
yes,
sort of gets some of their other. So was that a big thing over there, Modern Talking?
well, it was for me. My
Yeah,
mom,
yeah.
liked,
Oh
my
wow, good.
mom liked them, so I listened
Proper
to
sort
them.
of Euro pop,
Yeah,
Eurobeat pop. Yeah.
yeah. So it was just my mom
Oh
was
wow.
always into like modern talking and Smokey and and ABBA, all
Mm.
those kinds of bands. So I listened to all those throughout my childhood. But that's the first thing that I thought of when I heard that kind of like piccolo in the background, like the bam, was Brother Louie, because it just sounded like just right off there. It may have even been a sample for all I know, but that's the
Mm.
first thing that it reminded me of. Then when you have the opera vocals going in the background, you kind of like think of Enigma's Sadness when
Yeah.
you pop into there, right? So it's kind of like that. It's kind of like an upbeat, dancey vibe with a little bit of sadness in it, and then the
Yeah.
beat drops, and then you really get into that strumming of the violin, which again, I don't know if you call it strumming. What do you call rubbing the horse here? Do you call it strumming?
Uh, when you're literally just sort of,
Yeah, when you're bowing, is it called strumming still? Because you strum a
I
guitar. I'm just kind of
don't
like
think it's
thinking
strumming. I'll come back to you on that one in a second.
it's okay. Yeah, it's all good.
It must be
Yeah,
a.
it
I
really
forgot
gave
what it
me
is.
it really gave me that effect to it where it's just that, once again, the violin, the strumming or whatever it's called, it was not overpowering. I love the scratch effect that's in the background, the old record player, the old vinyl record playing on the needle,
Yeah.
right? You got that little bit of like that hiss in it, and it's just once again just the fact that you're able to make out all of those sounds in one song shows you what production quality can actually do in
Yeah.
a song. It's
Very good. Yeah.
very important to isolate the individual sounds, and as mentioned before, using your voice as an instrument, like what we were talking about when Rookie was still on, the fact that you use your voice as an instrument, remember to highlight your voice. Remember that your voice is heard just the same way that little vinyl record whirl was heard, like just the vinyl going over that needle. That's all.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I liked it. Big fan.
Oh, it's yeah, really, really impressed with that one. I listened a couple of times. Very good. Um, Boeing. I think it's Boeing because it says
Yeah,
violin bowing. So I think it's Boeing when you're doing that. I mean, obviously you can
that
do
makes sense.
staccato stabs and
Right.
various different
Yeah.
things, but it's a bow strike. You can do bow strikes and bowing. So it's Boeing.
All right. Whew.
Boeing 747.
Boeing 7047. Brilliant airplane. So that was the last one that was on the list, except that we were supposed to still get to my RM beer. So you sent his link to my email?
Yes. So
Yes.
we have that one.
So this is our last one of the evening today.
I take it Maya MBM must be probably of Iranian or something like that with a name like Maya. So usually it's Middle Eastern. Let's have a look. I like the fact that just going through these artists, it's from all over the place, and it's just so good to know that these, there's artists out there all over making music, and everyone's got their different influences. It doesn't say where he's from, but I mean, it might, just really mainly guitar-based instrumental stuff, but some good things.
What is a composer guitarist? This was posted, 17 hours ago. 520 plays in total. Sorry. So
That's a lot for 5 tracks. I mean, it's 100 plays per track, and I mean, mine are. I mean, I've got 56 tracks on there so far, but they're averaging something like 38 per track because the early ones didn't get a lot of plays, so it's sort of playing catch up. But that's very good for 5 tracks. I mean, he's obviously hit on something with a couple of those tracks in particular.
Is this the one that we're looking at? Was a bit of pain?
Madness was the one down the bottom. I thought that was pretty good. As my comments say down below, I listened 3 times straight, and I thought, well, that's good. Liked it.
Huh. 3 times in a row.
Cool.
You heard it once.
4 minutes. So
yeah, you heard it once. You played it a second time.
I just got to the end and thought I'm going to listen to that again. I mean, it's partly because I was making comments, and you want to sort of go back again because otherwise it flicks to the next track. But I wanted to listen to it again, so that was good.
I was going to say I thought that's how interesting it was, but now that you were making comments, and you had to go back. That kind of diminishes it.
It's because I put long-winded comments, but it's good because I actually listen to the music and make comments on the music, whereas a lot of people would just say, one-word things or exclamation marks.
Yes, fire.
Because then you get your comments to track ratio up, which means then you can upload more tracks if you're looking to upload. So and get people to listen to your stuff. But I think for me, it's really important to actually listen to the songs, comment on them, and because they've taken hours to do these.
Yes.
Days.
Yes. Well, let's check it out. So Mayar and Beer, from my closest kind of like translation, maybe wrong, maybe not. We'll talk with him later, I'm pretty sure. So let's check it out. This one is called Madness. All right. Ma Yar and Beer with Madness. Carl, take the comments away.
Right, so you got a bit of Brian May sound, like the Queen Chinese torture song from the Miracle album. And I'd say, as Dire Straits said, "Oh yeah, the boy can play." I mean, he certainly can play. And yeah, towards the end, you've got a little bit of sort of Nirvana sounding guitar there. There's a bit of Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, Van Halen sort of stuff going on. The sort of albums my friend Dan used to play years ago to me and say, "Yeah, you must hear this." Very Middle Eastern influence on the themes. The end section, before the end section, that quiet bit where it suddenly quietens down. You've got a very sort of Mike Oldfield sort of influence. So it's like all these different styles, some nice harmony guitars, lots of different things going on, recurring themes going on every now and then with the all that sort of stuff. So that's sort of repeated a couple of times. And yeah, lashings and layers of guitars. Really like it. It's just quite inventive, quite creative, and it's just bubbling with it's like a little melting pot of guitarists going on there. Very good.
He's good. It definitely, I mean, obviously that there's not much production value to it, is because I'm assuming that he would use this. I myself personally would use it as an audition type of kind of like thing if I were trying to get into a band or something like that, because he's got a lot of things going for him. He can play the rhythm, he can play the melody, and he can play the lead. That's very important also, right? Because some people are just lead guitarists, some people are just rhythm guitarists, some people are just melody guitarists. He's got all of that going for him. The fact that he can, put together a song, which obviously production is a little bit lacking here, but the fact that he can put together a song with those elements in there is just great. Because just as first thing that I heard was when it opened up was I thought Smashing Pumpkins. Then it got a little bit into Metallica. Then it got a little bit into Megadeth, right? So it had like that hard kind of edge to it, with the kind of like let's say, I don't want to really say soft rock stylings of Smashing Pumpkins. They weren't necessarily soft rock, but they were definitely softer than Metallica, right? But yeah, it's just when you get into it. So yeah, he's a great soloist. I would say the break was awesome. That's why I threw a couple of fires up there. I'm sure you saw, because it was a nice build up. I think it could have happened a little bit earlier as far as the song is concerned. If it happened towards the middle rather than towards 3/4 through the song, if it happened a little bit earlier, then I think it would have been a lot better. But it did. That break there was kind of like, get to the lowdown, and then boom, we're right back into it. Just sounded amazing. So yeah, good song. I could definitely see why you listened to it a few times. But yeah, a little production is necessary. I get it. It's out on Spotify, it's out on iTunes, it's on YouTube and everything like that. But as far as like calling it an actual song, I think we're far from there. I would definitely call this more of an audition tape than anything else. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. Give our opinions.
All that we're here for. Kick me in the ass later in the comments if you wish. If you do leave a comment, please remember to like, subscribe, and share this as well. Hit that notification bell so that way you always know when we have new stuff up. So the stuff's going to be going up. We're going to be doing the Underground Sound, which is today's show. It's going to be the review show. We're going to be doing this once every 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from now is when you can expect the new one. And the ones and twos underground is going to be every 2 consequential weeks. So next Friday, ones and twos. The Friday after that, Underground Sound. Next Friday after that.
So every other week is the alternate show.
There you go. Every other week was the word that I was looking for as well. Carl, this has been a great show. I kind of like, who I'm sure that you've heard of Muse. You had to have.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I like Muse because, I mean, I was quite late to the party on that one. And it was one of my friends who I was working with sort of introduced me to a couple of the songs. And one in particular was Knights of Sidonia. I absolutely love it.
That was the same one that I was introduced to.
Yeah.
was Knights of Sidonia. But since the last song that we heard was Madness, I thought that maybe we could close out the show with Muse's Madness.
Well, do you know what? Do you know what? How about that? Because the actual, on the format of the show I sent through was saying the final one we do is a Purple Bowl of Destiny. Leave it to Destiny. And guess what came up? We choose DJ X Tech.
Look at that.
So you choose the song. That's amazing. I just pulled that out. So it's exactly as preordained.
Look at that. Then it must be fate at this point that the last song that we listened to is called Madness, which happens to be a brilliant song made by Muse. Obviously, guys, thanks for tuning in today. We will be back in 2 weeks, both Carlos and I. I will be back next week doing the ones and twos underground. But for right now, we're going to close out the underground sound with another song that's called Madness, just happens to be by a different group. Brilliant group. If you haven't heard them, they are mainstream. We're going to try to stick with the underground artists as much as possible. Carlos, any closing words for yourself?
No, really enjoyed it again. I hope our audience, our listenership, our viewership grows and enjoys the show. Feedback's good, comments are good. If we need to tighten up our comments and have less talking and more songs, let us know. Or if you enjoy the format and the way we're doing it at the moment, or if you've got any ideas and things that you suggestions, throw them in. Feel free to phone in and leave a message or something, and try and get your songs on here. Share with your friends. Get your friends to listen as well. It's a great place to discover new artists and new music, and it's a nice bit of fun. We're supporting each other because it's a very tough, difficult industry to get heard in with, and there's so much competition all over the world.
Yes.
It's hard to get heard. So we're doing a little bit to help everybody out, and or as many people as we can out. And it might be the next big thing, the next big artist that gets heard. Who knows? We're doing something at least to help each other.
I'm pretty sure we've done it already a few times. It just happens to be a matter of everybody kind of jumping in and showing a little bit of support. So guys, really, guys and gals, whoever's watching the show, honestly, listen, hop into the link description here, or hop into the descriptions, find the artist link. If you had found somebody very interesting that you absolutely love their song, maybe you like Carlos Fandango, maybe you like DJ X Tech, maybe you like both, who knows? Hop in the descriptions, find your favorite artist there, click on their links. Seriously, go show them some love as a musician. If you want your song on here, you are more than welcome to contact me at, I'll leave a link down below. Also, that12dj@gmail.com. Feel free to send me your music, or Carlos Fandango, if it's okay with you, I'll post your email in there as well. Unless you're just doing your thing for music, personally.
No, that's okay actually, because if somebody wants to contact me, and I've been sort of collaborating with artists a bit more now when I've got time to. It's problem is we've got day jobs and everything as well, so it's hard to sort of fit the timing, and that's I'm struggling to try and collaborate with people and help people out with their tracks, and also do my own music. So I'm trying to get an album out later this year, but happy to get if somebody wants to email and talk about the show. I mean, obviously DJ X Tech is your man, really, that knows the most about it and how to get your tracks on there and get played. But you're welcome to message me, and I'll do what I can to assist. If you want to find out more about it, I'm always happy to have a chat, and we'll have a nice chat and find out a bit more about you, and get your music promoted. Why not? Indeed,
absolutely. If you're on the channel, and if you're listening to us, before this used to be the official DJ X Tech channel, it has changed because now it's just the underground sound. The ones and twos are part of the underground sound, as is Making a Musician 101. We're going to have our best of the web, on there eventually. The channel is growing nicely. I'm not complaining that, eventually, sooner or later, we're going to hit triple digits, and that'll be nice. Then quadruple digits is going to be even nicer. And then, we'll just keep on growing and growing, I'm sure. But once again, hop in the description, check out the videos that are actually on the channel. Click those links, show these artists some love, spread the word. We thank you for spreading the word on us. We will do everything that we can to promote your music. We look forward every day, honestly, to hearing new music. And As you can see, we're both in the eclectic style of our music love. So we're not really focused just on hip hop or just on rock or just on country or anything like that. We do truly enjoy all types of music. So whatever music that you have to contribute, we look forward to hearing it. And for that, this is Friday, May 20th, 2022. DJ X Tech and Carlos Fandango for the Underground Sound, signing off with Muses Madness.